Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you're dialing in from today. Today's presentation is going to be on corporate excess disability coverage, going where the group LTD doesn't. Now, one question I like to ask employers is, are you unintentionally discriminating against your most valuable employees? Many employers have a hard time trying to figure out different ways to recruit, motivate, reward, and retain key leadership. And that's specifically where our firm comes into play. We help design executive disability and life programs for corporate executives. Now, what I'd like to do is take a couple minutes here to tell you a little bit about our company, Brookfield Partners, and tell you a little bit about myself. Our firm was established in 2008. I've spent the last 17 years working in the disability insurance marketplace. Many perceive me to be an expert in the individual disability marketplace. I hold a couple different advanced designations in disability insurance, the DIA, the Disability Income Associate, the DIF, the Disability Income Fellow, and I have a lot of experience working with as a point of sale specialist with advisors and their clients. Let me tell you a little bit about the advisor's advisor. We operate a wholesale distribution model. What that means to you is we're not taking money out of your pocket to work the case with you. We work on an override, so you're still going to maintain the same direct carrier relationship that you have with the carrier, and we're merely going to receive our override compensation. Our platform is pretty robust. We're a multi-carrier access platform, so it means we're going to shop that case out with the best carrier for your client's needs. We also have an online digital enrollment capability. What that means to you is paperless processing. Our paperless processing is, matter of fact, approved by the carriers that we work with. So whether it's a small employer or a large employer, through our online digital enrollment, we can do the entire transaction without paper. And really, I specialize in working with financial advisors and benefit advisors to design corporate executive disability and life programs. Now, why do advisors choose to work with us? Simple. There's no reduction in compensation. We're your unpaid team member on your team. Our compensation is, again, the same as if you worked with the carrier directly. Many advisors really enjoy our online digital enrollment capabilities, especially when they have companies that they're working with multi-site locations. And really being there is the point of sale support. We're there to get in the weeds with you, work the case, and that's where my experience comes in, is working with large employers. Now let's take a couple seconds to have a recap of the group disability insurance marketplace process. What is Group LTD? It's coverage that is available to all your employees. It's very easy to administer. And Group LTD is a great foundation of income protection, but monthly caps may be too low for higher income employees. Group LTD is really economical for the employer, and it's guaranteed issue for all the employees. When you're looking at costs for Group LTD, you're typically looking at rates of anywhere from 50 cents to maybe $1.25 per hundred of monthly benefit. Now, there are some limitations to Group LTD plans. These plans have constraints that limit the income replacement ratio available to highly compensated executives and business owners. What does that mean? Compensation coverage sometimes excludes bonus and other incentives or stock options. There are also low monthly maximum benefits on Group LTD policies. So while key people might have incomes of 20 or 30,000 monthly, a Group LTD plan might only have a cap of 7,500 or 10,000 a month. Now, one option is to increase the Group LTD maximum. However, this increases the risks and expenses to the Group LTD plan, including higher group coverage costs due to increased premium rates, increased claims risk, and spreads across the entire covered group. There's also potential for new existing conditions or exclusions at the next renewal. Now let's take a little bit of a look at the overall process of individual DI. What is the process? It's a very invasive process compared to that of Group LTD. You really need to know the full health history of the individual. That individual may or may not have to have a medical exam, a blood profile and urinalysis, might have to take a look at their medical records. Always required is a personal health interview which is done with the carrier or done with a third party vendor to really go through some of the health questions. And income documentation, above certain amounts, many of the carriers are going to require income documentation. It's a multi-page application process. And when you're looking at individual disability and what that cost is, if you remember when we talked earlier about group LTD, it could be anywhere from 50 cents to $1.25 per hundred. Individual disability, you're typically looking at somewhere between $4 to $6 per hundred of monthly benefit. And how does GSI enrollment differ? Again, GSI is really just individual disability insurance products. However, like group, it's a census-based enrollment. It's a short form application, guaranteed issue coverage. And again, what differentiates our firm with others is we have proprietary digital enrollment process approved with many of the carriers we work with. How about some of the advantages of integrated disability income? Corporate excess DI plans provide several advantages over standalone group LTD coverage, including enhanced income replacement, covering both salary and bonus, incentive compensation, stock option compensation, fixed premiums, and institutional discounts. The larger the group, the more discount we can work into an individual policy. So again, we have that same individual policy at highly discounted rates. So we're talking unisex rates versus male and female, which is typically offered in an individual policy, plus 20 to even 30% discount on top of that. Policies and coverage allow for enhanced portability, not offered in a group LTD plan. What most people don't realize is when someone separates from service, they can't take their group LTD with them. What they can do is if they have this individual corporate excess DI plan, they can exercise provisions in there. One carrier offers what they call benefit update. And what that does is, should they ever lose that group LTD, take for instance separation of service, they can now increase the individual disability without medical underwriting. Preservation of group LTD rate stability. The more individual DI that the executives have, the least they are on the group LTD. So should a claim happen, it's not going to have that great of effect on a large group. Again, we're covering salary, bonus, and any incentive compensation. Let's take a look at some of the policy features of integrated disability income policies. Coverage provisions and premiums are guaranteed. These are non-cancelable, guaranteed renewable individual policies. There is, however, no medical or financial underwriting required if group size is adequate. You also have an option to obtain enhanced coverage for catastrophic illness or disability, bringing you somewhere near 100% of your gross pay. Also included in a policy is full benefits for mental and nervous conditions until age 65. And one of the best features for the group benefit advisor is you can't lose it to a BOR. These are individual policies. They're not something that can be BOR'd. You'll still maintain your trail revenue on these products. Now, how does a group qualify for GSI underwriting? A group must be a minimum of 5-employee group, and it can be a carve out from a larger group. So don't just think it's got to be some large group. It could be that small group with just 5 employees only, or it could be a 500-person group, and we're just taking 5 people of the key management. Premiums are normally employer paid for small groups, but there is some options and some wiggle room to discuss to talk about looking at voluntary options or co-paid options. But really what works best is an employer paid option. Now, when you're looking at GSI, you're also looking at full policy benefit provisions and all the riders being available to that group. Monthly benefit amounts can vary dependent upon the number of enrollees. While a small 5-employee group might only have a certain amount available in the domestic market, when you tie in the international market, we can be looking up to $50,000 per month of monthly benefits. To take an example, I worked recently with a law firm with about 30 attorneys in the firm. And when you were looking at the census, there was about 4 employees with incomes north of 700,000. Now, all they had in place originally before we met with them was a group LTD plan. But through our Lloyd's cover holder that we work with, we were able to get an offer of 50,000 a month of benefits. So they did a 65 replacement up to 50,000 a month guaranteed issue. And on larger groups, we can even obtain higher benefits, possibly up to 300,000 of monthly benefits. So if you're working with Fortune 1000 companies where many of the key incomes could be over $1 million, that's where this coverage can really come into play, and we can get it done with no underwriting or guaranteed issue. And the final benefit amounts and options are determined by the carrier based upon the census submitted. So we always like to take a full overall look at the entire census, not just the census of the key employees that we're looking to cover. Now, here are some qualifying questions I like to ask of the employer. Would it concern you if you realized your key employee weren't receiving the same benefits as the rest of your employees? Or are you insuring your rank and file employees for more than your key employees? In most cases, it would be about 1 to 1.5% of your key employee salaries to help ensure they receive the same benefits as the rest of your company. Would that be something you'd be interested in exploring? Now let's take the next few minutes to look at some case studies. The first example, they have Group LTD for 5 lives and it offers a maximum monthly benefit of $6,000. Although the 5 employees earn $20,000 monthly. Those employees' benefits are in reality only 30% of their earnings. Additional GSI benefits can offer higher monthly earnings. So when I talked about that law firm, this could be a similar example where we're going to the international marketplace to get a plan to cover 60% of all those 5 employees. Now taking a look at the next example, we have an 800 employee group. They have LTD that covers 60% of their earnings to a maximum of $15,000. However, 45 executives have higher than $25,000 a monthly earnings, resulting in lower than 60% of earnings benefit. GSI here is a solution to increase monthly benefit for those executives. Our last example we're looking at is a firm of 20 employees. The employer wishes to provide some DI coverage to 5 executives only. Group LTD typically won't offer a carve-out plan to as few as 5 employees, but if they did, you would see reduction of benefits that are offered to that group. GSI will often offer coverage with monthly benefits as much as $3,500 on a group this small. So again, this is still a way for a small group to get some coverage on a guaranteed issue basis. Now, taking a moment, we're going to talk a little bit about the RFP process. What are the things that I need to know to take a look at the case? We're going to need to know, of course, the name of the business, where they're located, how long have they been in business, what's the nature of this business. If you talk to the employer about paying some of the premiums or having the employee pay some of the premiums, and of course, taking a look at the census, name, gender, date of birth, occupation or job title, and earnings. Now to finish off, we're going to talk a little bit about our firm's online RFP process. We're a very tech-friendly firm. So if you don't have the time to sit there and fill out a spreadsheet, you can actually do it directly on our website. Go everything through, fillable form, gets transmitted directly over to us to then get in touch with you and talk a little bit about the case. To get there, just go to www.brookfieldpartners.com/GSI quote. Thank you for taking the few minutes to learn about corporate excess DI plans. And if you have a specific case to discuss, you can please contact me, Brad Kadelsky, at brad@brookfieldpartners.com, 866-639-0443. And thank you and make it the rest of the day productive.